Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie. As you heard from the title, this is another Patreon requested video. I'm going to be watching and reviewing 1981's Ghost Story, not to be confused with A Ghost Story, which is from 2000. And this film stars Fred Astaire and is about a group of friends who get together to tell ghost stories when a real-life ghost invades their group. So I'm excited to watch this one. It definitely sounds interesting. What's not to like about a good 80s film? And I would like to thank Stephanie for requesting this video. Now, if you are interested in getting to request a movie for me to review, you can do that by joining my Patreon. If you join at $5 a month, you get a one-time request, and if you join at $10 a month, you get a once-a-month request. So if that sounds interesting to you, you can find me at patreon.com/CarnageCandy, or the link will be in the description along with all of my social media. And I wanted to film this in kind of a come with me style. So this is the opening before I actually sit down to watch the film. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm gonna do that now, and I will be back to give y'all my opinions on it.
Is anyone else seeing things? Am I the only one having nightmares?
Okay, so I just finished with watching, and thank you, Stephanie, for this one. This is a really good film. It's a little on the long side. It doesn't quite hit the 2-hour mark, but it gets close. But it feels necessary. They give a lot of backstory to the characters and what's going on and why things are happening. And you get a lot of detail in this film, which I think is necessary, and it doesn't drag on. And it doesn't drag on too long, which is great. And for a film that came out in the early 80s, the FX, graphics, whatever you want to call them, for this film are really good. Like, you see our ghost character, and it's deformed at times, and they did a really, really good job with that. It's very creepy, it's very scary. There were definitely parts where I was wondering where this was heading, what was going on. I'm trying not to give too much away. I really don't want to give too much away because this film is really good, and I think that if it's something you haven't seen, definitely suggest checking it out. I actually did have to rent it on Amazon Prime. I know it's available on there as well as YouTube, and I think kind of anywhere where you can rent to stream something is probably available. But I wasn't able to find it for free, so just FYI, I did have to rent it for about $4 on there, but definitely worth the $3.99 to watch this film. So if you can, again, highly suggest checking this one out. Like I said in the opening, it is about this group of old men. It's like 4 or 5 friends who get together to tell these little ghost stories. I don't know if it's like monthly or yearly. They didn't really describe that very well, but I think it seems pretty often, and they all live in this town. It's not like they're coming together like once a year into the town. Like, they all live there still, and so they get together to tell these stories when all of a sudden they all start being haunted by this. They all start being haunted by the same spirit. Some of them in dreams, some of them in real life, and it's very interesting. I definitely was like sat there wondering what is going on, where is this going throughout like the entirety of the film. I will say, once you start to get those answers, it's not exactly the super original idea, but it may have been for its time. The idea has been done before, but it may be copied off of this film. I don't know. But it was done very well. But it was done very well in this film. So, real quick, I am going to talk about spoilers. So just be forewarned, if you don't want anything to be ruined, then don't watch the rest of this. Go watch the movie, come back, finish the review. But I am going to talk about the ending, the whodunit, whatdunit of this film real quick. So, starting now. So if you have seen this film, or if you don't care that it's spoiled, basically we find out that these group of men are responsible for the death of this woman back when they were in their 20s. It was an accidental death. They accidentally kill her, sort of all fighting over her, which is a little bit ridiculous, and doing what they always do in these, sorry if you can hear my cat, she's in the window, and doing what they always do in these films, instead of waiting a few minutes to see if they're okay, or calling the police, or calling for some sort of help, they just try to get rid of her body, and it ends up very badly. And several years later, when they're old men, for whatever reason, she decides now to come back and haunt them. They kind of explained that in like a bit of a throwaway way, but that's okay. It's the 80s. I'm not gonna hold it against them too much for that. But yes, she decides to come back to haunt these men and starts taking them out one by one, including some of their family members. And again, not a super unique idea, but I really liked it for this film. Though, you know, you're sitting there watching this film going like, oh, I feel kind of bad for these old men a little, like what's going on, so sad when they're dying. And then this happens and you find out this, and I'm just like, okay, I don't really feel so bad for them. Like, I'm sorry. I know, you know, they were in their 20s and people make mistakes, but this is just more than that. This is more than just making a stupid mistake when you're a 20-year-old. Like, these were a group of men who were fighting over some woman, and, you know, they just, one of them couldn't fathom the idea of, like, her basically saying no to him, and I'm just like, this is just misogyny, ridiculousness. Like, dudes, it's the whole friend zone aspect with playing out in this film. It was just, it didn't anger me, like, it's fine, but it didn't anger me in the sense of having it in the film. That is fine, but it just made me angry at these old men. It made me a little like, well, you know what? You kind of deserve what's coming to you. And besides, at this point, you're old. It's not like she's attacking you right after it happens. It's not like she's getting you in the prime of your life. You're already out the door. I'm sorry, they are. So, whatever. That's just how I feel about the end of the film. But I did really love it. I still think it's a really, really good film. And again, I'm not mad about that concept. It just makes you mad at the old men for what they did. But again, I really like this film, so let me know what your thoughts are on it if you have seen this film. If you did enjoy this, please do give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for more horror-related content. And again, if you would like to be able to submit a film for me to review, you can do that by joining my Patreon. Links are in the description below, along with all of my social media. And before I go, a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to contribute to the channel. And I will see you guys again later with another video. Bye!